Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek. I'm here with Scott D'Agostino from WizKids.
Hello.
With a huge assortment of games here. We've got 7 different games coming out in the next 6 months.
These are
or so.
basically in the next 6 months. Starting, well, this one's available now. And we're very proud to have Zev Schlesinger on our team, heading up the board game department. And man, he just hit the ground running. And as we came out with 4 small box games that are this size, as the Banishing,
right? The Dice Stars and
Dice Stars, Burke's Gambit, Blank White Dice, and Rock Paper Wizards. And those are all available now. And this is sort of his second set, if you will, of things coming up over the next couple of months. So take a look for them. He's got a great eye for really cool game mechanics, and a lot of these are just really easy to pick up and a lot of fun.
Okay.
So
maybe start with the Banishing, just little overviews of each game.
Sure. This is going to be just,
now.
we're not going to be able to do full demos or anything like that. They'll just give you a little overview of each one, and if we can get to these other 2, we will. The Banishing is available now, just came out. And this is a game where you have a portal where bad things are coming out. Undead are coming through this void,
right.
And you're trying
it's
to...
like a candy portal.
yeah. The portal to Candyland.
Yeah.
They are coming through, and you are. It's a cooperative game for 3 to 5 players. Plays in about 45 minutes to an hour, and you're trying to stop these creatures from coming through the portal. Okay. You take on the role of one of these different characters. There's a healer, a cultist, a bard, a witch. So they all have different special abilities in the game. So you're going to try to use those to the best of your ability to help the team. And basically, what you do is you have these cards here, which might have monsters on it, or it might have these spell symbols. Spell symbols are the symbol or the color is important. Okay. So you're trying to collect sets. You create a 3x3 grid of cards, and when you pick up cards, you have to take either a row or a column.
Okay.
Now, that row or column might contain a monster. So the monster, if you have to take it because you really want that green card, because you're trying to match a set of 3, either 3 of the same symbol or 3 of the same color to power your abilities, then you might have to take a monster, which comes as damage.
Okay. Now, and of course, if you don't pick it up, eventually there's just going to be a ton of monsters. You keep choosing other things.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, and there's different abilities that you'll have that you'll be able to get rid of those monsters and put things out. Hopefully, the cards that come out are not more monsters, but more spells that'll help you. And you have to kind of manage the team in terms of if one person dies, then everybody loses.
Okay.
So you might have to take some monsters for the team, take some damage. Like if I haven't taken any damage in the game, well, maybe I pick up the monster. So pretty easy to learn. It's basically a set matching game with some management of your health and your different abilities.
Okay.
So.
All right.
We can just fold that one down here. Now, next one to come out will be Tower of London. This comes out in April, so next month. This is essentially a worker placement game, and the workers that you're placing, you have the map here for the Tower of London with many different buildings, and you are placing your cubes, different colored cubes matched to your player color, and trying to have area control of these different buildings.
Okay.
If you there's a legend of the Tower of London. You may not know this, but that legend says if the Tower of London has less than 7 ravens in it, then something bad happens to England.
Okay.
So in this case, you're actually trying to collect ravens as your little score markers.
Okay.
So as you're playing cards, you get to play cards. And on your turn, when it comes to your turn, you play 2 cards. The first card you play is the number of the building that you can place one of your cubes in.
Okay.
The next card that you play, you get to use the ability of the card. So you'd ignore this part.
Okay.
First card, you'd ignore this part, and the second card, you'd ignore this part, and you use the ability.
Right.
And then at the end of each round, you score by counting. If I have the most beef eaters in a certain building, then I'll be able to score for it. So as I said, core mechanic is sort of a worker placement area control game, and there are also some random events that can happen. But there's a lot of strategy and sort of pre-planning where people are placing and where you're going to put your where you decide to put your beef eaters.
Okay.
And this one comes out in April. It is 3 to 5 players. Takes about 45 minutes to an hour to play.
Okay.
Slide that one off to the side here.
All right, we got Tournament of Camelot.
Tournament of Camelot is Arthurian legend game. Wonderful artwork, and in this you are playing as a character. They'll have this is your health tracker cards. You can play as famous character people from Arthurian legend. So you have King Arthur, and then each one has different ability card that they can play with them. This is at the core is a trick-taking game.
Mm-hmm.
You have different numbered cards with different suits.
Okay.
And you're playing the cards of a suit, and then you have to play the card numbers into descending order. And then if no one can take a card, then you get that trick.
Okay.
But you will also take that as damage. So
All right.
so there's
bad.
yes.
Yeah.
And it's a tournament because basically if you are the last person to be standing, you win the tournament.
Okay.
The really interesting thing about this game is there's some catch-up mechanics in it. So you have these cards that are like King Arthur can be coupled with the Excalibur, but you only get to use this if your health is under 200.
Okay.
So as you lose health, you actually unlock different abilities for what you have assigned to you, and then there's also cards that are called gifts. And the person who has the lowest health at the end of a round gets a gift, which will give them a one-shot ability to be able to do. So it's very interesting that you can, at times, you almost want to purposely take some damage so that it might unlock some abilities, or maybe you're the one that gets the gift for that round.
Okay. Which will possibly leave you strength for later competitions anyway, or tricks, or
Correct.
however you want to do it.
Correct.
Yes.
So, it's a, as I said, at its core, trick-taking game, but it has this these very interesting mechanics, catch-up mechanics, that keep people in the game throughout.
Okay. All right. All right. Dice spot or
Yeah, DiceBot mega fun here. Now, this is a Fast and Furious fun game here. Imagine we are scrappers in a junkyard, and we are building killer robots to try to destroy each other's killer robots. This is a game that has dice. One note: these are pre-production dice, so they just have decals on them.
Right.
They will be engraved dice in the final production, but just for our demo copy here, these are decals on these dice. There's cards that represent different weapons that you will get in your hand, and you have to match symbols on the dice. So if I want to attach a torch to my my droid here, I'm going to be looking for this wrench symbol. Now, how do I get the wrench symbol? Well, everybody gets dice, and then everybody roll their dice into a big pool in the middle, and that represents a junkyard.
okay.
That you are going to
We're
pull
go
from.
find stuff.
And you're going to go find stuff. And there is a very fun energy in this game because you are actually grabbing dice simultaneously.
Okay.
So you have to try to grab that dice. It's just as if you were running into a junkyard and you want to get that piece of equipment first.
Okay.
So you got to grab those dice to build your robot, and you have different the cards for the robot. Here you're building. So you'd have 2 different leg slots, arm slots, a chest, and then a head. So you got to grab 6 different dice that would match up with cards that you have, and you're trying to grab them quickly so that you're getting the best weaponry or best effects. There are also, this is a shield. I have that upside down. So there's defensive things, there's offensive things, there's other effects that can happen. But you're trying to grab grab the dice as fast as you can to get the best mech that you can, and then once you go through the combat phase, some weapons might only affect people on the side of you, some weapons might affect everybody, some weapons do more damage, less damage, but if your robot is the one that survives at the end of the battle, then you win that round.
There you go. Oh, and you do multiple rounds, building new robots each time, and
Correct.
so from there. Okay. All right. Big spot. Deadline.
Deadline. All right. You can see from the box here. This is sort of a
That's one of the other components here.
sort of a film noir art style here. You are a detective. You're actually a team of detectives.
Okay.
This is another cooperative game. 2 to 4 players. Takes about an hour to play. And you can play as one of these different detectives. Each one has a special ability that's unique to them. And in this game, there's different cases that you are trying to solve.
Right.
The first release of the game is going to have 12 cases. There's a demo case, which we have right here, right now. And then there's 12 other cases. And then we're looking at adding new cases. And this is also something that I think the fans can create their own as well.
Right.
Each case has an introduction that would be read to the group, so it kind of sets up the case and what you're trying to solve. There is the solution that you would find out at the end, and then there's questions that you would get later on. But first, in order to answer the questions, you're going to have to find clues.
Right.
So you start off with a card. So this is Studs Malone. We want to go and find out what Studs Malone works. So we need to match cards that match these symbols. So we need to get a pack of cigarettes, a hat, and two bundles of money in order to get Studs Malone to talk. So the way that would work is if as you play cards, and this is played in a group, if I played the subway card here, you have to match symbols on the card and stack them. So I would have to play something that can stack on top of that card. So this one starts with a cigarette pack, this one ends with a cigarette pack, so I can place that on the top.
Okay.
And then continuing from there, well, there's a shot glass, I could put the shot glass. But once the team comes up with these 4 symbols, then we now have interrogated Studs Malone, and you get to read what he gives you for information, and then you put out 2 new clues here that you then would try to solve.
Okay.
And you can also, once you have those clues out, you're going to be matching. They'll have different symbols that you're trying to match from there.
Okay.
So hopefully, as you're going through and getting that information, then you'll be able to get the information to answer the questions at the end.
Right. So, all right, the collective deduction, but also the efficiency of playing things out here. You don't want to waste all your resources.
Correct. And there are also event cards that can happen. They're usually bad.
Okay.
And this is the first player marker, and then there's some other matchbook and bullets. Bullets allow you to sort of skip, if you will.
Okay.
But other effects there. But at the core, it is a cooperative game. You're trying to solve a mystery and playing your cards to match symbols along with the rest of your team.
Okay. All right. I gotta point out Tracer shot here.
Yeah.
Tracer bullets here. I'm gonna call it out. All right. Fantasy Realms or Expanse?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about these 5 games here, but I brought these along as well since we just got them in for the show. So might as
Okay.
well.
All right.
Fantasy Realms is a pure card game. Really easy to learn. Really fun to play. In fact, our demo team has been, they can't wait to take this after the show and play some more games. It's a very simple mechanic here that each of the cards have point values in the top left. You're trying to score the most points that you can over the course of the game. There are cards that combo with each other. So this Warhorse would give you 6 points at the end of the game, and then it's a bonus. It gets plus 14 points with any leader or wizard.
Okay.
So very simple mechanic here for the game. Everybody gets 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And all you do is you have a draw deck, you have a discard pile, and on my turn, I discard a card. I can either draw from the top, or I can draw one of the cards that someone discarded.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be from the top. You
Right.
sort of fan out the discard pile. So if you put out that card that I really wanted, hey, great, I'm gonna grab that one, and you just do that to try to min-max your hand for the most points.
Okay.
And that's really it. That's it.
And you end when you wish, or
You're going to go through.
go till-
Yeah, you're going to go through a number of rounds that everybody's going to be able to discard and draw, and then at the end of that, you then just say, okay, here's what I built for my hand, and score it,
All
and
right.
add it up and score it.
All right.
And so it's really simple to learn. You're just trying to match these symbols. There's a couple different groups of cards. So you have army cards, leader cards, land cards, and they all play off each other from these keywords, and they're all color coded, so it's really easy to track.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Forward, and then last.
At last, I wanted to bring this along as well here, which is The Expanse. This is a television show that we're licensing to create this game based on the television show The Expanse. This comes out in June, and you can play as one of 4 factions, either the UN, the OPA, Mars, or the Protogen. Fans of the show will know what that means, but they're 4 factions.
Right.
It's basically an influence game. I'm not going to go too much into the mechanics of the game, but you are trying to basically have your influence for your faction spread out over the Expanse, we're looking forward to coming out in June, and this is a game that I think, if you're a fan of the TV show, obviously there'll be a connection there.
Right.
But even if you're not, if you haven't seen the show, the gameplay is a lot of fun and is not predicated on knowledge of the show at all.
Okay.
But certainly adds a lot of flavor if you do know the show.
Okay.
So, but that one does come out in June.
Okay. And we will be at Origins. You will be at Origins.
Yes. Yeah. You can
Talk
see us
about it
if
more there.
anyone's at Origins. You can see us there. We are going to be running demos here at this show for a lot of these games, so there'll be more information out there.
And we'll have a live stream at Origins, so we can spend more time and set it up.
We're also
Everything's there.
continuing with the Adventure board game series for Wizards of the Coast. We'll be doing more games of that in the future. And then some of the other bigger box games we've done recently, Assault of the Giants, that have miniatures. This is kind of interesting. We were joking off camera that there's no miniatures in these games. That's
right.
Usually a lot of our games have miniatures. There's dice, of course, but one other thing that we're looking to do, and you might have noticed it with the boxes here, we're trying to look to do standardized box sizes.
Right.
So we have 3 different box sizes here, and those in general match along with price points, which is going to make it really easy for retailers, also easy for fans and players, and also really great for storage.
Right.
So in general, the smaller boxes will be about the $14.99 to $19.99. The medium-sized box there will be are $24 to $30, and then the larger games can be up from there.
Okay. All right. Wow. A quick run through.
Quick run through, but we're really excited. As I said, very happy at WizKids to have Zed Schlesinger on our team,
right.
And you can see all the great games that he's been coming up.
All right. Thanks for the overview, Scott.